Almighty God, we humbly beseech thee to look with favor upon this Parliament of the Republic of Ghana. Grant that it may perform its high duty as in thy sight. Give divine guidance to the President of the Republic, thou members of Parliament and ministers of state with discernment and vision, integrity and courage, that through the labors of government, this land and people may be well and truly served, and their good purposes for the common human life be realized in our midst. O God, grant us the vision of our country, fair as it might be, country of righteousness, where none shall wrong his neighbor, country of plenty, where evil and poverty shall be done away with, country of brotherhood, where all success shall be founded on service, and honor shall be given to the deserving, country of peace, where government shall rest on the will of the people and the love for the common good. Bless the effort of those who struggle to make this vision a living reality. Inspire and strengthen our people that they may give time, thought, and sacrifice to speed the day of the coming beauty of Ghana and Africa. Amen. Honourable members, you're welcome back. This is a nomination to the Ministry of Trade and Industry. Apart from the permanent committee members, may I know who are representing the Ministry of Trade today?
Ministry of Trade.
Sorry, the Committee on Trade and Industry, yes.
Right. So Committee of Trade and Industry, and the appear could be representing the chairman of the committee.
Very well. Who else is on the committee?
Bright Rekobrobi.
Very well. You're welcome. Can we now bring in the...
Agree. We have...
Kindly bring in a nominee. You may administer the oath.
And kindly on your mic. Please, would you want to use the Bible or the crucifix? The Bible. Okay, so please you repeat after me. I,
Kofi Ahenkorah Marfo,
swear by the Almighty God
swear by the Almighty God
that the evidence I shall give before this committee
that the evidence I shall give before this committee
touching the matter in issue shall be the truth,
the whole truth,
and nothing but the truth. So help me God.
Honorable I'm trying to avoid saying Kofi Marfo, so I want to be sure that Honorable Kofi Ahenkorah Marfo, on behalf of the committee, I congratulate you on your nomination as a Deputy Minister to the Ministry of Trade. You've been a Member of Parliament for the past 3.5 years. We've known you as a member. Before then, you were known in the party, active, including a chairman and the chairman of chairmen in the Eastern region. Now, our duty is to verify whether beyond being a member of parliament, which means that you qualify, that there are any matters which we must know, and if there are any issues which would otherwise constitute a factor to your being confirmed or appointed as a Deputy Minister for Trade. So I'll now invite members who wish to ask any questions to proceed. Yes, Ebuakwa, is it Ebuakwa North? Ebuakwa North.
Thank you very much, Honorable Chair. Honorable Chair, I wish to ask the nominee, as I look at her CV, he has executive certificate in alternative dispute resolution. With this knowledge, how is he going to use this to support his minister? And also with his experience in business as per his CV. Thank you very much.
Yes, Honorable.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. To begin with, you know, Trade Ministry has a lot of dispute issues, starting from trade unions. If I say trade unions, I'm talking about trade associations, GUTA and other associations. And for that matter, you realize it is incumbent on the ministry to make sure issues that come before the ministry in respect of trade associations and other agencies and interest groups are taken care of. And with my background as ADR practitioner, I will have to help my minister in terms of how to resolve such issues and disputes that come before the ministry. So I will assist my minister in discharging that aspect of the mandate given to us. Thank you.
Honorable Chair, with the nominee being a practicing alternative dispute resolution expert, I want to congratulate him, and I want to say that hoping that he's present there, we're going to have a lot of peace in this area. So I congratulate the nominee. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Yes. Chief Whip.
Mr. Chair, let me thank you for the opportunity and commend the nominee, a colleague, Eastina. Congratulations on your nomination. Mr. Chair, may I know from the nominee his understanding of the current exemption regime we have, vis-a-vis the fact that we have a law passed. What is his understanding, and what is he bringing to the table to support his minister, or the ministry for that matter, in this regard?
Yes, Honorable Minister.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. For exemption, I will start by saying that it has been an integral part of our regime, both export and import regime. And when we're talking of exemption, we are talking about importation and the associated exemption and tax waivers. When you talk about trade facilitation, we're talking about industrialization, we're talking about 1D, 1F, we're talking about free zone. These are areas that the tax waivers and exemptions are very important because they serve as an incentives for investors to be willing and prepared to invest in these areas. Yes, as for exemption, from what I know and my understanding and what I've experienced, there are a lot of issues associated with exemption. Some of them are on the premise of, how do I put it, suspicions. Why? Because they are general feeling that some of the exemptions or those who are to be exempted don't merit to be exempted. But that is a feeling. But under normal circumstance, these investors, they want to put in their investment because of these incentives. Because we are looking at how do we get these investors to put in their investment. And we are also looking at how do we get employment for our teeming youth. Before we can get all this, then there should be an incentive. And so exemption is part of the incentives. And we are talking about exemption of duties for their machineries, raw materials, and other aspects of production. So for me, exemption is very important when we're talking about trade, when we are talking about industrialization, especially the 10-point agenda industrialization that we want to pursue. So I would say that it is important for us to continue granting exemption to industrial companies that are within our confines, who are also into a serious industrialization.
Mr. Chair, if I may continue, I appreciate the nominee's understanding of the concept of exemption. The nominee will know, and I'm sure he knows, that in the South region, there are a number of countries who also offer similar or same exemptions as we do. You answered my question correctly, but I probably left the latter part. And the latter part was, what are you bringing on board to assist this handsome man seated by my left hand to support him in his delivery? The handsome young man, the advocate here, for the record. What are you bringing on board to assist?
Mr. Chairman, my minister is in charge of the policy of the Trade Ministry. My duty and responsibility is to assist him. So whatever he desires that I do to assist him to move the policy, I will do that. So mine is to come and assist the minister. And you know my minister, I only have to assist.
Mr. Chairman, that statement speaks volume. You only have to assist. And you are not the only one who knows your minister. We also know him very well. Honorable nominee, what is your understanding of the free zone concept vis-a-vis economic zone? What is your understanding? And which one do you think we should be pursuing, economic zone or free zone?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. We have to pursue the order too. For the free zone, we have to understand that we need to, as a matter of practice, we need to assist our industrial agenda. And one of them is the free zone. And we are looking at export. We are looking at export as a base for our economic transformation. And if we have to do that, then free zone, that is at that point, is very important, because free zone is offering the companies the opportunity to export 70% and over export. And because of that, we are looking at getting a lot of export earning, because we are in a country where imports is the driving factor of our economy. But we cannot continue like that. So for me, it is very instrumental for us to do everything that we can to assist the free zone in order to be able 20% over export. And we are talking about value addition. And there's even a new phenomenon that is also equally important, the service export. And free zone is also ready to offer that opportunity that will give us the export earnings that we need. So for me, all the two are very important and very critical. Thank you.
The importance of micro, small, and medium scale enterprises is not lost on us. And I don't know what you can do to support your minister to either pursue a different path or a path that can change the narrative. In a nutshell, what are you bringing on board to support the development of small, medium scale enterprise?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. You know, we are even adding micro to the small, medium scale enterprises. And when you ask me what I'm bringing on board, my leader, I am just to assist. So I'll continue to assist my minister. And I know that area is an area that he's so passionate about, because it cut across rural, urban, semi-urban, and all of us here in this room have a stake in it, because we are either from the rural community or rural constituency, urban or semi-urban constituency. So that is an area that I understand that my minister has a serious passion. And so it is going to be a driving force for our next generation. So whatever my minister wants me to do in respect of assisting in pushing micro, small, medium enterprises forward, I will do that. Thank you.
Mr. Chair, let me take my last, if you permit me. Honorable nominee, the concept of 1D, 1F is now well known and well accepted. Do you think we should do something differently to enhance it? Or what should we be doing in terms of the status quo to make sure that the narrative changes or we get to where we are desired of getting to?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. You know, 1D, 1F was a concept that, for me, for me, it is the best for this country if you want to move our industrialization to the level that we can do more of export than import. What I would say is that for now, communication and information flow is key when we want to deal with 1D, 1F concept. People don't really understand the concept. So when you ask me at this time, because what we've done is so much, over 169 companies are on board. So what I will say is that the information flow is very important and very critical. And as a ministry, we should do more in terms of giving out information for people to appreciate what 1D, 1F is really about. Thank you.
Mr. Chair, I'm grateful. Thank you.
Yes, Papa.
Thank you, Chair, and congratulations, my very good friend, Honorable Kofi Ahenkorah Marfo. Chair, I see on page 2 of Honorable CV, a very distinguished member, Ghana Institute of Freight Forwarders. In the last 4 months or so, a lot of discussions around matters within the port enclave. So obviously, we are having issues. People raise them up, matters to do with import, export, and so on. Can you tell us that with you partnering your minister, are we going to see a much more serene atmosphere at the port? What really are the challenges there? And how can you help your minister to bring sanity in that space? Thank you, Chair.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I want to put on record that I am not partnering my minister. I am assisting him. So I want us to have that clarity. I am not his partner. I am his assistant. Yes, talking about port. Yes, since the government of Nana Akufo-Addo took over, there's been a lot of transformation in respect of port activities and trade facilitation. One of them is the one-stop shop and paperless port activities. But you know, it's a human institution, so definitely there will be hitches. And talking about paperless, it is both human and electronic. So we are doing our best in respect of trade facilitation and clearance within the shortest possible time. What I would say is that the concept has taken off for some time. So the expectation is we should do monitoring and evaluation of the concept. Where have we got into? Where did we pick it from? And where have we got into? If we are able to do that evaluation, then it will be okay for us to now begin to do some reforms. And I will say that I will advise my minister, because that sector, the port sector, my honorable transport minister is here. Finance Ministry also has a play to role, and then the Trade Ministry also has a role to play. So all of us will have to do a lot of collaboration, and I will advise my minister as to the way forward. But for me, if you ask me, I'll say for the period that we've had these paperless and other trade facilitations and clearance procedures, we should begin to do some reforms. Thank you.
Thank you, Chair. At this point, I am very convinced that the nominee will find favor with us. So I congratulate you in advance and wish you well. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Yes, anyone? Yes, Honorable Samuel Atacha.
Mr. Speaker, and yes, Mr. Speaker and Chairman, thanks for this opportunity. My dear brother, Kofi Ahenkorah Marfo, congratulations. I have no doubt in my mind that you are very competent to sit in the office that the President has nominated you to go. But I'll just ask one question, and then that'll be it. You see, if you pay regard to Article 79(1), it provides, and I quote, "The President may, in consultation with the Minister of State and with the prior approval of Parliament, appoint one or more deputy ministers to assist the minister in the performance of his functions." So you are supposed to go and assist a substantive minister. So, Honorable Marfo, what if the minister rebuffs your assistance? Do you go and consult with your appointer, the president, or you deal with your substantive minister? Yes. So please do get a drift of my question. Oh, I should repeat it.
Mr. Chairman, I do.
Oh, lovely.
Yeah. Mr. Chairman, when the President called me and said he's taking me into the Trade Ministry, he was very clear about it, that you are going to assist your minister. I don't want you to come here and be telling me any story. If you have any issue, deal with your minister. That is what the President told me. And so I am going to assist my minister. So if there's any issue, I will deal with my minister. Thank you.
Well, I think, Zedro, you want to ask your colleague a question? Very well, let me hear you. If it's not a question, kindly hold on, because we are not done. That's it. Honorable Apiakube, are you asking a question? If you are, this is the opportunity. Go ahead.
Mr. Chairman, I thank you for the opportunity. Kofi, I congratulate you for your appointment. I'm sure that your background and your expertise was in consideration before your appointment, and therefore the Trade Ministry in charge of trade, industry, investments. You need to collaborate with other ministries, particularly agriculture and even tourism. how would you exploit your background into building this collaboration?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Like you rightly said, my minister is also aware of my background. And I know he's going to put me at where he feels strongly that I can function properly. And when he does that, I also discharge my duties as required of me. Thank you.
Mr. Chairman, I'm done.
Vice Chair.
Right. Thank you very much, Mr. Chairman. Mr. Chairman, if you permit me, I'd like to establish 2 points. The first question I want to ask is that if the nominee has a phone or has a means of indicating whether Bueni appears on the map of Ghana. Bieni, that's it. I want you to establish if Bieni appears on the map, because I don't seem to know where it is, and I don't know whether it's by the roadside. Bieni, yes. Honorable.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Yeah. If it is my hometown Bieni that you want to know, yes, it is in the map of Ghana. Otherwise, there wouldn't be any town called Bieni. And it is not only called Bieni, we call it Bieni Mranti Krum. And one of the Mranti is sitting just before you. So it is in the map of Ghana. But because I am not too conversant with geography, so I cannot point it to you now, but it is in the map of Ghana. That is where you can find the cocoa extension service, the cocoa seed production unit that takes care of all the cocoa seedlings that is produced for cocoa cultivation in that part of Eastern region. We have only 2, one in Bunso and then one in Bieni. So when we're talking about cocoa in Eastern region, it is Bieni and Bunso. Yes.
Thank you very much, Honorable Nominee. Mr. Chairman, I'd like to also find out, where does your mother live? Is it a Bieni or in Accra or Tema? Thank you.
My mother is a retired midwife. She retired from Tema General Hospital, and she lives in Tema with me and our other family members.
Right. Thank you very much that you are so close to your mother. Anyway, the other issue is about my position as a gender champion. And I'm here, I see on your back your 2 beautiful, pretty daughters. And I see your wife.
How did you know that?
I know. I can, yes, I know. And I want to establish something. In our language, we say, "Apuncheni wua eni yehune tente." Meaning, it is only the death of the frog that you can measure its true length. And I want to find out from you, Honorable, this is a house of record. And for my sister's sake, if I say my sister, or my for my daughter's sake, as a gender champion, you have on record that you have only 2 children. To his knowledge. I want you to establish it here. Thank you very much.
Honourable member, if you want to answer that question, it's up to you. But you're not obliged to answer that question.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. In the interest of family values, gender issues, advocacy in gender matters, I will answer the question. Mr. Chairman, I have 2 daughters. And I need to establish this to put my wife at ease. And then to put my Rosalinda's mind at ease. I have 2 daughters. And they are the ones just behind me. It's true. That is a fact. There has been a lot of issues about why do you have only 2 children? You have daughters. Where is son? And I don't know how to create a son. I don't know how to create it. And I was blessed with 2 daughters. And I'm so grateful to the Lord for giving me 2 beautiful daughters and a beautiful wife. Yes, it is not only 2 beautiful daughters, but a beautiful wife as well. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Honorable, thank you very much for affirming the situation for me. But there's one other issue that I'd like to know. You, in your response to some of your questions, you said you advise your minister. Can you advise? How sure are you that your advice will be taken by your minister? How confident are you? I can answer that for you.
Mr. Chairman, my minister is a very hardworking minister. 2, he has a good passion for the ministry that he's handling. 3, he's a very principled person. 4, he has me at heart. And the 5th one is a new allergy. There has been a lot of discussions, and I know he holds me in a high esteem, and I really appreciate that. I'm not going to take that for granted. I'll continue to assist him. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Honorable Chair. I'd like to take this opportunity to congratulate my colleague, Honorable Kofi Ahenkorah Marfo. Such an affable character, and I pray that you are going to work successfully with my right honorable, not right honorable, honorable minister. I wish you all the best. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Very well. Now, I'll ask you a few more questions, Chairman. Chairman, from your record, you've never worked in the public service apart from being an MP. Is that right?
Yes, MP and the chairman of Metro Mass.
Great. Do you see any difference in your own work, the private sector, and as chairman of the Metro Mass, chairman of the board of the Metro Mass company?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. To be very honest with you, I see a lot of difference. You know, where we are coming from, we don't really understand certain things because the rules with the private sector looks a bit different from the public sector. You need to go through certain processes in order to achieve what you have to achieve. But in private sector, no, things must be done right. And, whoever is responsible knows that if he doesn't do what is right, he can be fired there and then. But in the public sector, it is not like that. So there are challenges, especially we coming from the private sector. But we've been managing because that is how the system is. And we only pray and work hard to change the dynamics. Because if you are able to change the public sector dynamics and, infuse the private sector dynamics, this country can go far. There's a lot of things that we can achieve if we do that. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
I'm interested in that part because my own experience also reflects that. Came from the private sector straight to head a public sector agency, and in many instances I was frustrated. I want something done, I want it done quickly and immediately. And you realize that, no, in the public sector, it doesn't work that way. You have to go through left, right, center, before. Do you find that very frustrating?
Mr. Chairman, it is. And I'm just being very honest. It is very frustrating. But what can you do? You only have to try and improve on it. And it's a collective decision. It's a collective decision that, look, we want to reform our public sector. Even attitude towards work. When do we even come to work? When do we even close? There's nobody to check when you come and when you close. It's very frustrating, Mr. Chairman.
If you had your own way, what will you recommend that be done differently in the public sector to achieve the level of efficiency you think or you get in the private sector?
Mr. Chairman, if I have my way, I recommend a lot of transformation and a lot of reforms. And it should be a positive reformation, both character, attitude, and all that. Because that is the only way that we can drive our economy. So as for reforms in our public sector, it's eminent. It is very key and it's very important. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Well, let me ask you about the free zones area. Do you know how many companies are currently active in the free zones area?
Mr. Chairman, I don't have it off head, but I believe they are more than hundreds. They are over 100, but I don't have the record of hand.
Do you have any idea how many of the over hundreds are indigenous Ghanaian businesses?
That one too, it will be a bit difficult because you can have, partnership. Some are indigenous, but they have foreign partners. And for us, it is not really about who owns it, but if it is registered as an indigenous entity, we consider it as indigenous and we consider it as a local enterprise. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
From my experience or some information I have, from the very beginning, we appear to have targeted foreign investors. So we hardly had any support systems for indigenous Ghanaians wanting to be in the free zones area. I don't know how you can improve that, but I do know that probably the biggest and the major thriving business at the free zones is owned by a Ghanaian. And he practically bought over what we gave to foreigners, so to speak. But if he shares his frustration in getting registered, it shows how little faith or confidence we have in our own colleagues. In fact, from what he tells me, he actually had to go and hire somebody in Dubai to float a company like a Dubai company before he could get access to the free zones. And today is actually the biggest of all and is operating bigger than all. I'm saying this to give you a heads up that have patience for some Ghanaians if they show interest in that. That is just a comment. Now you are in the trade area. You facilitate clearing of goods. That is your private sector business. Do you think that the Ministry of Trade can do more towards the rural economy? It appears the Ministry of Trade is heavily focused on import and export business and doesn't appear to do much with our rural economies. Do you think the Ministry of Trade can do something more?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. That is what the feeling that the Trade Ministry is only interested in import and export, and that is not it at all. Because when you talk about Ghana Enterprise Agency, that is an area that I feel personally, I have a feeling, and my feeling is that we are not doing a lot in terms of publicity, because that is the area where the rural setup has a lot to gain, because for them, their focus is the small, medium-scale enterprises. Now we've added micro to it. And even if you look at the concept, you realize that that is the area where even if you are talking about interest rate is very minimal, depending on the financial institution that is in question. So I would say that the focus should be on these SMEs or MSMEs. And we should move into getting these small-scale, medium-scale enterprises into place. We have a lot of facilities that the Ghana Enterprise Agency is ready to offer. MasterCard is on board with Ghana Enterprise Agency. So it is for us as people, and especially we sitting here as members of parliament, it is our collective responsibility to make sure we tap in what Ghana Enterprises Agency has for us, because they have a lot for us in terms of training, in terms of building capacity, in terms of skills. All these are there for us. So we should be championing the Ghana Enterprises Agency development. We should champion it, we as members of parliament, because we control all these constituencies that can access this funding. You know, the next one is funding. Yes,
Chairman,
I know.
I'm seeing that you're talking about support for small and medium scale.
Yes.
Excellent. But I go to my constituency, Bekwai. They have a place we call industrial area. There are many active players. They have a trade facilitation office or something close there. But I'm not aware that apart from mechanics who are passing out, who once a while, the agency gives them tools. I'm not aware that the agency is supporting any of the businesses there. How can the small-time operators at the industrial area at Bekwai access your facilities?
Mr. Chairman, this question is more of a question to the minister or the deputy minister. I will say that we have business resource centers, and I know Bekwai should have either one or two. Yes, Mr. Chairman, it will be empty. It will be empty because they are now doing more of field work than sitting in the office. Because assuming that they've given enough training, skill training, they've given enough funding for these medium and small scale enterprises, it is their collective responsibility to make sure that they monitor, evaluate the work of these enterprises. So you cannot find them in their offices as we want. But I am taking your issue on board. Fortunately, my minister is here. My colleagues, 2 deputies, are also here. And so it will not be difficult for us. And if you give me the opportunity to go to the ministry, I will advise my minister. Thank you.
Very good. I'm happy you've taken it up. My interest really is to guide the local artisans how to access the facilities you make available to them, because I don't see any effort at training people how to access the facilities, the credit facilities, and so on. So I want you to, in fact, they say if you want to talk to God, you talk to Inframa. You talk to the wind. The God is sitting on my right, but I'm talking to the wind. That we should make sure that those who need it know how to access it. Okay, it's extremely important for developing the base for us, right? Maybe I should be bringing this to a close, but your expertise, I don't even think that because you're trained in alternative dispute resolution, it means that that's your expertise. Your expertise is in trade, you're a businessman. That's fine. But sorry, 1 minute, I have to answer this one.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. While waiting, let me set a few issues right. The biggest cocoa processing company is Ghanaian-owned under the free zones, and it is called Plot Industries. There is one in Takoradi. It's also Ghanaian-owned. Niche Edmond Niche is also Ghanaian-owned. So the perception of free zones attracting only foreign investment is not the case. And the biggest company in finance under free zones was called E-Processing. E-Process was EcoBank created company. So we also encourage Ghanaian participation under the free zone. Cocoa processing is there, plot industries is there, and niche is also there. They are all Ghanaian owned. Probably Barry has been the first, and it's probably bigger than what I said, but these are also evidence of Ghanaian participation under the free zones. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Honorable. I would like us to just take a minute for the chairman to round it off. I'm not too sure if he's done with the questions. So we just have to hold on in a jiffy. Okay. Right, I'm giving the green light. That we are very grateful to you for giving us very useful information, and I must commend you for your knowledge in the ministry in which you are going to assist the minister. Honorable member, I therefore discharge you. But before I do so, I would like us to acknowledge the following personalities who are here with us to attend to your verdict. Number one on the list is our own Honorable Yao Osafo Marfo, a senior presidential advisor. I'm not too sure if it's still around, but we acknowledge that he was present here to be with you. Then we have Dasibra Janine Kantan, our Otosumine, the second, Paramount Chief of Achem Achiasi. Then we have Nana. May I have, we have to be sure that you are here. Oh, the chief, okay. Nana Dakwa, the second, Queen Mother of Achimachiasi. Nana, we are very grateful. Nana Nyante Chua, Queen Mother of Bieni. Nana, I'm very grateful that you are here. Nana Jamana Kente, Jasihini, Anamasi. Nana Jinentri, Jina or Jenny, Jina Entry, Contingent of Kokobi. Thank you. Nana Owusu Debra, Jasehine of Bieni. Grateful. Honorable Abed Kofi Owusu, Party Chairman, MPP. Thank you. Honorable Richmond Amponsa, DC Achiasi, ACP KK Amoa, Esquire. Yeah. And now a private legal practitioner. Yes, we need to acknowledge that. We have Phyllis Abuaje, wife of the nominee. And then the two pretty daughters, Bosompima Marfo and Mame Marfo. We are very grateful. Thank you very much. We are very grateful. And then we also want to acknowledge any other person whose name was not mentioned. All protocols have been observed. And thank you very much for your presence here. Right.
Very well, honorable member. We thank you for attending upon the House to answer questions. Now you're discharged. You hear from us later. Thank you all for coming.
Thank you.